would like to especially thank the UNIDO office in Bahrain and also the Islamic Chamber for Commerce, Industry and Agriculture and all the sponsors. At the outset, I would like just to take you to a few points about Bahrain to give you the backdrop of the women entrepreneurs situation in Bahrain, actually due to the early introduction of education, formal education in Bahrain back in 1928, and also to the open-mindedness of the Bahraini people, allowing their daughters to study abroad and come back with the knowledge, transfer the knowledge, and take important decision-making decisions in the government and private sector, as well as the national charter, which gave the women equal rights and equal opportunity. Then the introduction or the launch of the Supreme Council for Women, and which translates the commitment of the leadership for women empowerment, as well as many programs like the Bahraini model for entrepreneurs, which is in conjunction with the UNIDO, and Tamkeen that came after that, and all the positive discrimination, as we call it in Arabic, التمييز الإيجابي, for women, and programs that are specially designed to empower women, and the national strategy that was launched by the Supreme Council for Women in conjunction with all the stakeholders in the country, including UNIDO, to release the power and reach to the full capacity of women in Bahrain. As a result of that, today we see that with this slide I'm sharing with you, you can see that we have reached our potential. It's not coming big. 1 second, please. As you can see from this slide, we are reaching the potential today. We are reaping the fruits of this. Women in the private sector, as you see in the free market, comprise 43% of the commercial registration and 32% in the national development. And all over, as you can see, in all sectors, women are leading and taking their proper position and contributing to the development of the country. And of course, women entrepreneurs are at the beginning of this. And also we have lots of accelerators, and also we have accelerators and incubators to help women achieve young entrepreneurs. Just I want to close it. Okay, so to help young women to achieve these goals. Without further going on, I want just to go straight to introduce our panelists. We start with Mrs. Sabah Al-Muayyad. We're very proud of Sabah Al-Muayyad. She is a real example of women development in Bahrain, what they achieved. She has a very rich background in banking, and the last job that she held was the CEO of the Iskan Bank, or the housing bank. The time being, Sabah is the chairwoman of Flat 6 Labs in Bahrain. أم خالد صباح تفضلي اختي، يشرفني إني أقدمك. Please. Sabah, please, can you unmute your mic?
So, sorry, always like, that kind of hiccup when it comes. Thank you, Mrs. Afnan, for the introduction. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Oh, thank you, Mrs. Afnan, for really, I mean, it's good to be introduced by an old friend, and at the same time, a very prestigious career woman as well. And I would like to thank UNIDO and their partners really for hosting such an important event that addresses a very important topics related to women empowerment. We all realize that empowerment is really a process by which you make women become more confident when it comes to controlling their own life and their rights. It doesn't have to involve basically actively fighting for equality and rights, but rather than being able to feel satisfied that their contribution are being acknowledged and they are able basically to advance. So I will share with you really my personal experience in relation to how I have empowered, you know, kind of like team members or colleagues and employees during my career in the banking sector, during my also currently I sit on boards as a board member, and also as basically someone who got involved in the entrepreneurship landscape. Thanks to UNIDO, they have given me all the thoughts in that. And today, you know, we are really, I chair one of the very successful professional startup accelerator in Bahrain. I would like to basically address, because of the time constraint, I would address 3 areas that I looked at and tried really to kind of focus on while trying to support women entrepreneurs, including women. And when we talk about entrepreneurship, entrepreneurship is not just necessarily being in a business, you know, because we would like to encourage women even to become entrepreneurs in their own work environment, because this is how they can progress and then be able to basically progress later to make their own decisions in terms of you know, I mean, creating their own SMEs and scaling them up. But basically, I tried scientifically and systematically to address 3 areas in my, and I do it also now. First of all is the focus on education, training, mentorship for both gender. Wherever I have really been involved in as either employee or executives or a board member, I have really tried to focus on their areas, on those areas, and trying to encourage women in particular to go and attain higher education if they don't have any, as well as the other gender. And at the same time, I tried really to support them as much as possible with the right mentorship and the right coaching. And most of the institutions that I've been associated with really had at least minimum 25 to 30% of the middle management level and higher management level were women. On the entrepreneurship and the accelerators, we are also trying to ensure that with every cycle we run, at least we have 2 to 3 female entrepreneurs. Sometimes we don't get them all, but even through the selection process at the boot camp or the cycle, we try really to help them to bring their ideas from just an idea into what is called a minimum viable products that can help them basically later to scale. The second area which I always focused on is to build up a kind of like knowledge among women about the importance of finance and managing their own finance, building up their financial strength to become independent. And this is very important. We also try to put time and effort to teach them also about saving and the importance of saving and investing wisely. The third area, which was also very, I've been involved on a much bigger scale, which is basically trying to create the awareness about having women in the workplace really adds to the productivity, add basically to the creativity, the innovation aspects of it. And today we have there is no doubt that we are seeing more and more women even entering as entrepreneurs and running their own SMEs, as have been stated by Mrs. Afnan. Also, 3 years back, I supported the Supreme Council for Women, which is chaired by Her Highness, the wife of His Majesty the King, on a 6-month assignment to create that kind of culture of equality, woman equality, a woman advancement in the financial sector. And in fact, it was a very intensive assignment where really we addressed all banks, investment banks, insurance companies, and others to try to promote the equality of the two genders, where women would have similar rights and advancement opportunity. As on the entrepreneurship side, and this is very important because we always talk about really the area where woman can also manage her own time and can maybe create value. We have seen that women are very good when it comes really to talented things. They explore and they do things, you know, we're seeing more women venturing into SMEs. But my only maybe observation is we really would like to see more women on the tech side. And this is why we are trying to filter this within our own startup accelerators, because ability really to do, to basically succeed in business and to subsequently scale in the future can also be enhanced if really women look at the tech side and try really to kind of outreach markets beyond the regional and the local market. I think I just tried to be brief, Ms. Afnan, just for the sake of time. Otherwise, you know, I can write books on how to empower women. We are encouraging really young entrepreneurs, and we do hope to see them all in the future are taking really the position where they should be. You know.
Thank you very much, Ms. Sabah, for this brief and informative presentation. And now we'd like to move to Ms. Maria. Ms. Maria is coming with a wealth of also experience, and she just joined us. She has experience in the entrepreneurial level as well as in the public life and the different positions that she has achieved. And I was very impressed by going through her bio for the diversity in her experience. And I leave the floor to Ms. Maria to tell us about her experience and the challenges she met and the way that she has overcome those challenges and her advice to us. Welcome, Ms. Maria.
Thank you, Afnan. Thank you all. Sorry for my late arrival, but I was looking for the link, and I had a meeting, and I will have another one. So we could think that in France it's much more easy, and equality between gender equality is much more advanced. It's true and not. If we look at our association, it was founded in 1945 after the Second World War. To help women who were at the head of a company to find their position in the economic world. And still today, we still have difficulties in this area. And it's still the case also amongst companies. And mainly in large companies, they are trying to set up new rules to help equality, gender equality between men and women, but it's still a lot of breaks, and it's still difficult to set it up. It's fine at the beginning of a career. It's fine when we recruit young women, but then the career, the internal career, it's becoming more tough. It happened to me when I started. I made some geology studies and hydrology, and I wanted to work in petroleum company. I've been working with them as a student, but when I applied, they answered me, "Oh no, that career is not possible for you because you are a woman." And I said, "What? I'm a human and I can do the job. I made it when I was student." "Yeah, but it's more, you should go for communication, sales, marketing, and so on." So I had that in mind. And when I started in my first company, I had some mandate in social life for Employers Federation. But I was in charge of a structure which is looking after children, and I wanted to be in economy and to be much more invested. And each time I was asking, I had an answer, oh, yes, yes, we know you are asking for a position, but yes, yes. And I said at that time, but is it an association with helping women entrepreneurs? And they say, yeah, it's an association. And they put me in contact. And I discovered FCE France and then FCEM. And thanks to this association, I found that we can help each other, and it can be solidarity between women and working together to obtain certain rights. What we obtain in France, it's first step. It's, of course, we have, in theory, we have payroll equality. It's not completely true. It's still 20% difference between men and women. And more you go in hierarchy, more it's becoming true. But also we obtain to have quotas in board. So it's 40% of quotas of a same gender. It could be 40% of men if it was before a board with only a woman. So it improved a lot, and today all the large companies and played really the game and have now the right level. Inside the company to help women to grow, now in large companies they have special rules to detect the high potential women who could be helped to have a successful career and to have enough women who could become directors and be a part of executive board, the internal executive board. I mean, not the council, but the internal executive board. And it's a lot of things which are done for women. We do also, not only our association, but also some others. We are going in schools to push women. I heard briefly, I think, Sabah saying that we need to have more women in technology. It's true, we have the same problem in France, in Europe. And the only way is to talk very early to little girls when they start at school, and to explain them that doing scientific studies and doing technology studies will help them in the future, because that's help also for careers. So it's an action on that part. We have now a new minister for gender equality and diversity. She's a close friend of mine. She was working before in companies, because she has been working for Dell, Lenovo, HP, and now she's minister, so she knows the enterprise. And she's very keen to push women entrepreneurs and also young women in companies to get statutes. She's proposing now that we have paternity leave. It's already the case today. They have the right to take 3 days fully paid by the company. It's compulsory, but then they can take 11 days during the first 4 months of the life of the baby. And Elisabeth Moreno is asking, and also our president, Mr. Macron, is proposing to have 6 days compulsory and 22 days which can be taken during the next 4 months. So that will also help men to create a relation with the baby, and to find it's also their role to be present in the family and to change the culture, to change the mind spirit. So I think it's still a lot of work to do, but we are improving quite a lot. Thank you.
Miss Afnan, could you please open your mic? It's still closed.
Thank you, Ms. Marie Cristiano Galli, for this briefing. It's really very informative, and really it's going. We can learn a lot from it to change the culture, even in our communities. I would like also to thank also from the organizers, the Islamic, I would like to thank the Islamic Youth Forum for their support in organizing this forum. And now we'd like to move to our next speaker. We will have Ms. Navruza. She's a refugee protection portfolio manager from United Nations. And today we are so much in need of her expertise, especially in this world now with all the refugees all over the world. And the women are the mostly hit by this, mostly affected when they have to leave their countries with their children and sometimes without even their husbands. The floor is yours. Please, Ms. Jalilova, please.
Thank you, Ms. Afnan, for this very great introduction. Dear distinguished guests, participants, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees in Tajikistan, I'm profoundly grateful to take part in today's event and to talk about our unique cooperation between UNIDO and UNHCR in Tajikistan. But before I zoom into Tajikistan, let me highlight that when we are right now talking, there are 26 million refugees in the world, and 85% are living now in low-income countries. When refugees flee their homelands, they often carry very little. They leave behind their assets, their networks, their businesses, their employment and livelihoods, but they carry with them something which is inherent: their knowledge, their skills, their heritage, their culture, and of course, entrepreneurial spirit. This is something that can be built on upon reaching safe countries. The overall number of refugees in Tajikistan is not big compared to other countries. We just have around 5,000 people here. However, it is the largest number of refugees in Central Asia. Tajikistan has been generously hosting refugees for decades now and continuing to do so by granting them with socioeconomic rights on the same footing with nationals. However, to start and continue, refugees need boosting power and support. And our cooperation with UNIDO was right on time to leverage resources and opportunities, especially in the artisan sector, to engage refugees. And when we looked into viability of the sector, among all, we saw that it is growing sector of the economy. It is the second largest employer in developing world behind agriculture. We also know that globally, majority of artisans are women. And since it is challenging to find livelihoods opportunities in general, and for refugee women in particular, this is a good indication that the sector would work for refugee women. The artisan sector also offers flexible arrangements in many ways. Artisans can work from home, they can work part-time together in a work facility, or to take this work home. Which is quite crucial nowadays in COVID-19 times. Basically, they can earn income while caring for their families. This is particularly important for refugee women. A unique partnership between UNIDO and UNHCR has helped to identify refugee women artisans, utilize their skills and traditions, and building on this, further connect them with UNIDO's industrial development initiatives. And to name a few, those initiatives include promotion of umbrella branding, improvement of technological cycles and designs, introduction of innovative technologies, and marketing tools, skills development, and capacity building, and of course, access to markets. More specifically, UNIDO and UNHCR jointly support refugee women to run kind of their own small enterprises, often home-based, as a result, ensuring sustainable and stable income stream. Earning income is crucial for refugee women as it helps to rebuild their lives, to regain their dignity, and re-establish their independence. Why the society in Tajikistan enjoys the flow-on effect of these enterprises, as refugee families then spend their earnings on goods and services within the local market, thus equally contributing to the society. In the end, everyone benefits. Engagement of refugee women in artisan sector and textile sectors have showcased a powerful contribution of refugees to the local economy. Together, we can introduce new, authentic products and techniques that meet the trends of the markets, while giving refugee women the opportunity to make a safe and sustainable living and meet their basic needs. This provides for the full enjoyment of human rights, which is also in line with the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable UN Sustainable Development Goals, which is aimed to realize human rights for all nations and for all people everywhere, ensuring that no one is left behind. Thank you very much. Ms. Afnan, over to you.
Thank you very much. This is really very informative also, and it sheds light. I like what you said about that they carry their culture, their knowledge, and their skills and entrepreneurial skills. And we wish you all the best in all your initiatives to help the refugees and the entrepreneurs there. Fine. Now we would like to move. We will go to Ms. Hawa. Ms. Hawa, you also. Ms. Hawa also comes with a great experience and from Abuja with all the different positions that she holds. We are looking forward to listen to you and to your experience. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Afnan, for having me and for moderating our session. I'm very pleased to be here to share some of my experiences, importantly as a woman, but also with some impacts that I'm trying to make some difference in the lives of some women that I continually seek, to just lend my support and contribution towards their success. So I'm based in Abuja in Nigeria. Of course, with Africa, I suppose we can even say the challenges that so many people, and particularly women, face are very, very obvious. You don't need to look so far to see that there are so many women that are struggling both in their careers, in their attempts to be entrepreneurs, to fend for their families, etc. So in my own particular experience, even as a woman in my career, I've had occasions where I had to deal with being seen as someone who would not be able to cope with my role. I dealt in the early stage of the main project I'm working on, which is a science and technology park that is being developed here in Abuja. I've dealt with many engineers. It so happens that most of the engineers are men. And here I am as a woman trying to influence some thoughts, some decisions, etc. You can imagine how I would have struggled to make my point clear, but also particularly to get them to consider my contribution. So as a woman, I feel particularly, challenged myself with my role and all my roles that I play every day. So along the way, I felt that I needed to make some time out of my primary role to support women one way or the other. Within my Science and Technology Park project, of course, we run a technology business incubator, though it's not gender focused, it's not focused on women, it's a generic incubator. But along the way, I felt that in order to create some avenue for women to be handheld and supported, I came up with this platform that is a women investment club. So I invited a number of very successful women from diverse backgrounds to come together with a common vision to identify women that we can support. And this has gone very well so far. We've been able to attract a number of women applicants under our program, which is particularly focused on making these women investment ready. Because what we've found as a key problem is that women that want to be successful entrepreneurs have challenges attracting funding, but not just funding, but smart finance. So beyond funding, even mentorship, etc., can be extremely problematic. So this group of women that have come together, we actually invite expressions of interest by various women. Upon their application, we select some that we feel we can support. We have our criteria for selecting the businesses that we select, particularly businesses that are scalable, that can make impact, etc. And once these women come together, we offer them training support in order to position them to be able to attract funding, particularly from angel investments. This has gone quite far so far, so we are pleased that we're about to actually present some of our women entrepreneurs to angel investors to make some pitch. And hopefully we're going to be able to connect these women to angel investments that would support them through mentorship and financial investments as well. Now, we also have a very interesting project that we're currently working on. There's a foundation that is working on a women empowerment project. They have engaged with various local communities around Abuja. Now, this is a pilot project. We are looking to scale it up once we feel that it is very successful, and we believe it will be successful. So basically, this foundation identifies women in local communities trying to basically embark in business activities. For the last 5 years, they've been supporting these women with loans, and we got to know that the repayment of these loans have been going extremely well. Most of these women are able to pay back the loans, and they use the same funds in a revolving fund to support other women. So that we found very interesting, and we then thought, can we then come in as a women investment club to see how we can increase the envelope of funding for these women and turn such interventions into investments. The reason why we feel investments will be very good is because this will go beyond just loan or funding, but also training and other aspects of capacity building, etc., and mentoring with these women. So we recently had a submission by the foundation of a number of women that they felt have been in their businesses, they've been successful, they've been paying back the loan year on year, and we have then screened these women, and we're about to start a project with them towards investing in these women. Already for each of the businesses we identify, we've already even mapped out what we feel the future of such a business can be, and we're looking to actually see how these women individually will successfully take their products and services beyond their local communities, but into even the urban areas of Abuja, and beyond. So that's one key intervention I'm very much looking forward to see through. It's going very well so far. Now, one of the key areas that or challenges that I notice many, many women having here in Nigeria, and I'm sure in other parts of the world, is access to infrastructure. You find that for a number of business activities that women embark on that lead to the production of products, they struggle to get these products on the shelves of, say, supermarkets because of the regulations that they need to apply for licenses, they need to apply for a number of certificates, they need, in Nigeria, we call it the agency NAFDAC, they need a NAFDAC number, etc. None of these women would typically be able to fund the entire process and even bear into the time that it takes to get all these certifications. So last year, we started discussing very seriously with a number of potential partners on how we can create some co-production facilities that can be replicated across Nigeria, where these women are able to come and use these facilities in a common environment. And we're going to have the regulators come on board to endorse the facilities that we're going to offer these women, so that provided they produce their products within these facilities, they can easily access the necessary certifications that they require. We felt that this infrastructure deficit is so critical that such a project would be extremely beneficial to many women that are in the business of producing the various products for which they need certification. So these are some highlights of some projects that I'm working on to do with empowering women in Nigeria. And we hope that we're going to deliver on these projects, and eventually we're going to scale and be able to render similar services beyond the immediate environment that we are operating. Thank you so much, Afnan, for giving me the opportunity to speak.
Thank you very much, Ms. Hawaya Bani, for this very informative presentation. There are lots of lessons that we can learn from it, and inshallah, this will be this forum will be a platform for us to exchange these experiences. Now we would like to move to Ms. Jalila Al-Arab. She's the founder and CEO of Bahrain Fashion Incubator Morocco, and she's got vast experience also in Morocco and as an employer as well as an entrepreneur. Ms. Jalila, the floor is yours.
Assalamu alaikum. First of all, I want to thank you, Abdullah. Thank you so much for having us today. I'm really humbled and honored to be part of this panel. I would like also to thank the organizers, especially UNIDO, our partner, for their support. Bahrain Fashion Incubator, it's in Bahrain. Actually, it's not Morocco. I'm Moroccan, living in Bahrain. I established Bahrain Fashion Incubator in early 2016. It's the only fashion incubator in the region. Our role in BFI is to help both genders to build sustainable fashion, but mainly we work with women as in partnership with, of course, with other universities and organizations around the world and in Bahrain as well. We created a fashion industry in the region. Why work with women? Because they are the first consumer, and also they are the mainly who's attracted to fashion in general. We help them first to adopt new strategies around sustainability, community engagement. We have different programs. Our flagship is, we called it a Delmon Star, which is kind of mix of pre-incubation and community engagement. We help them to work with, like in different way, with different tools. We present them with the technology, sustainability, and heritage. These are the three elements that must be in their collections to finalize the program. Why technology? Because it's must, and especially now with all what we are facing in 2020, we all believe that technology it helps to not just to empower women, it helps the whole society. Heritage, it's their DNA. As fashion designer or fashion industry, we need to have that DNA to increase our sales and to have like to be differentiate than other fashion brands. How we operate with them? We operate differently across the market for them to stand among their competitors. Also, the designers play a key role in the industry. But the problem that they are all trained to just focus on creating production. So we concentrate with them to work on the business itself, to focus on the value chain. That's why we created, again, the Delmon Star, which is the pre-incubation program. We get the designers in early stage, work with them at the beginning, at the early of their, as I mentioned, in their journey, to be able to shape skills and think differently about their industry. Also, we help them to face challenges that we are mainly facing in the fashion industry, and especially today. We work with them, we work with them to help them to have a role in the society, not just to work with it as industry. The fashion industry, it's the most, if it's not the second industry that harmed the environment. So for us, sustainability, it's a must. We help them to recognize their impact, either for climate or the change for the society. We help them to to work with other crafts in Bahrain and even in the region. Try to create new jobs for other. I can't tell unfortunate, but for other small businesses. As I mentioned at the beginning, also the technology it's very important, and it's always important in the fashion industry. Like we can see for the past 100 years, the technology it shapes the fashion industry. So now we present it to them in different way. We are presenting them the 3D printing, the laser cutting, new technologies, adding sensors, adding new technology to the garment itself to make it kind of let's say of smart garment that it will help with sustainability again. I mean, in different way. It's not just, we won't consider it as just piece of garment that I'll buy it today, throw it tomorrow. No, it's a gadget. And it's beyond that, especially after COVID-19, most of the participants this year, they came with genuine ideas that really helps to deal with the situation this time. Also, it changed their mind, the way how to deal with the customer. We open up their eyes on new ways, either on e-commerce, on different ways of branding, which is, we had that big lack in the region. For them, the fashion industry in GCC in general, or in Bahrain specifically, it has a big challenge facing the big brands, the luxury. The consumer in the region is very educated and needs to have that fine, let's say, fine finishing. For our designers, and most of them, they don't have any background. I mean, they came from different background, but nothing related to fashion. So we work with them from the beginning, from the start, to show them the basics of creativity, to teach them the basics of fashion, let's say fashion designs, pattern making, and sewing, and all those basics. Then again, we take them to the other part, which is working on the industry itself as management, as branding, as e-commerce. So at the end of the program, they came with like solid understanding of the industry itself, not just as a small business, but to come with a solid brand that it will start and succeed. We are trying to open the doors for them, for not just in the region, through the e-commerce, like to get it like more bigger and try to attract other markets. They have their own specification. They have their own DNA. They just need tools. They need help, skills, and also they need part of the knowledge to be there, and especially from the government that help them to open the doors for other sources. We have very big lack of sources in the region when it comes to this industry specifically. Those small designers, those women are now not just like someone working from home through social media, or no, they are project of brands with solid ideas, with solid understanding of the industry. Some of them, they went too deep to the technology. They came with very genuine ideas. I hope if we have time that I can talk more about it and explain and even show like what they did, especially during COVID-19, and how they came with ideas to help the community with very creative tools and
Ms. Jalila, thank you very much for this presentation. Sorry, you are not with us anymore. I hope you can listen to us. And now we would like to go to the questions. We have received questions. The first question is from Safa Lutfi, and that's from Morocco. What is your opinion about women student entrepreneurs if they are launching a startup in a domain they do not have much knowledge about it, but we believe in it. We believe in it. I think maybe Mrs. Sabah, can you answer this question? Mrs. Sabah, are you with us? Mrs. Sabah? Okay, then we will move to any of the panelists would like to answer this question?
I am here.
Oh, you are here. Sorry, Sabah Habibti.
Yes,
I didn't hear you. I thought you left. Okay.
Okay,
My
me?
dear. I will mute now. Can
Yes.
I repeat the question? Ms. Jalila, you are back with us. Sorry, I thought you had a problem. We started. Thank you very much for your presentation, Ms. Jalila. Now we are moving to the question and answer session. And the first question is to Mrs. Sabah. What is your opinion about women student entrepreneurs if they are launching a startup in a domain they do not have much knowledge about, but they live in it and they believe in what they are doing? Okay, I'll mute my mic.
Okay. I mean, very interesting question. Basically, all startups have to believe in what they would like to promote. And this is very important. Passion is very, very important. Because that's what really drives a startup, because it's not really an easy life. It's a tough life. You have to go through a lot and a long processes. The second thing is that, they have options, I mean, if you are telling me, for example, from Morocco, I think they have options. They either can house themselves in an incubator whereby they can get the supports in terms of mentoring, and at the same time, in terms of getting coached by the incubator's directors to be able to develop their products into a product that can help them after a certain period, like 6 months, 12 months, or 18 months, to take it to what is called a kind of like ability to have it in an accelerator environment, whereby they can only have mentoring services, they can have actually seed funding, because to develop products, you need sometimes to recruit 1 or 2 team members to help you basically moving your ideas from just an idea into something which is called minimum viable products, and ability to write a very clear business plan to be able to sell it. So that kind of funding would come either from accelerators, owners, or from angel investors. I would say if one has the passion, one also has to be realistic. It has to be workable, because innovation really comes from trying to identify that there is a problem and there is a solution, and finding how do you develop that solution and be able to scale it. I hope I answered the question.
Thank you, Mrs. Sabah. That was really very enlightening. And I would like to move now to the second question from Sana bin Hamouche. She is also from Algeria. Their question is, we need not only to educate women that they can be entrepreneurs, but men also should accept this right. They are somehow afraid of strong women and have many misconceptions about women owning their own business. What do you think? I would like to present this question to Ms. Jalila. Since the question came from Algeria, I think Ms. Jalila will be the most suitable to reply to this question. The floor is yours, Ms. Jalila. Mrs. Jalila, can you hear us?
He dropped from the session, Ms. Afnan. You can direct the question to another speaker.
All right, fine. Then I will move the question to Ms. Yabani. Can you please, Ms. Hawa Yabani, can you explain about this? Thank you.
Okay, come again, Afnan, can you repeat the question? You're muted. Your mic is on mute, Afnan. I can't hear you.
Sorry. Yeah, okay. I'll say the question again. We need not only to educate women that they can become entrepreneurs, but men also should accept this right. They are somehow afraid of strong women and have many misconceptions about women owning their own business. What do you think?
It's an interesting question, really. Or should I say a statement? Because obviously many women feel that men just have a problem with us being successful. So it's true in the case of some men. True, you can definitely even see directly how women, or rather men, pose serious problems to women when we're trying to succeed, either at work or even at home. But then I definitely would say that we can't say this is across board, because there are definitely very many men out there that are extremely supportive of what women are doing. And I think in every woman's success story or life story, there are bound to be men that have been negative and men that have been very, very, very positive. So yeah, I think it's a matter of hoping to meet the right man at the right time in every affair that we get involved in our lives.
Yes, I fully agree. And I think my way of handling the men that are not positive, they become a source of challenge. And I thank them too, because they really give us the stamina and charge us to prove our point and to go against all odds. Thank you very much. And now the third.
Ms. Jalila Arab is here. She rejoined if you want to address the question again to her.
Do we have time, Ms. Suhair?
Okay.
Okay. Once again, I am addressing the same question to Ms. Jalila, because the question came from Algeria and you are from Morocco. Maybe you will have a different aspect on how to answer this question. It is that sometimes men are afraid of strong women and have many misconceptions about women owning their own business. What do you think?
I believe that we can talk about discrimination in a business. I mean, maybe in normal life, it might be yes or no. It's depend of the society and how the men are educated in their society. We can't just generate the fact that that's what's always happened. But in the business, I believe that there is no discrimination when it comes to a business. There is more challenges for women. There is more problems maybe because she handles inside the house and outside the house. There is other problems that she might have more than men. But afraid, I don't think so. I don't believe in that.
Thank you very much. I'll go to the next question. It is for Ms. Naruza, and it is Navruza, and it is during the pandemic crisis. What UNCHR and other international organizations are doing to build an online startup culture for refugees, especially women? And I have one more question for you also, because it's also related to the UNCHR, and it is saying, is it possible that some of the refugees have already got some skill? In this case, is there any significant roles that UNCHR play to connect the refugee with companies? Okay? So again, the question is, what is UNCHR and other international organizations are doing to build an online startup culture for refugees, and the role in them, connecting them with the companies. The floor is yours.
Okay. Thank you for these questions. Absolutely interesting questions. And definitely, UNHCR throughout the pandemic has been together with refugees, and we've been supporting governments across the globe to ramp up our support to refugees and to connect let me start my video and to connect them with resources and skills trainings. And we've been creatively thinking, and we've been introducing innovative technologies to connect people, refugees throughout pandemic with opportunities, not to interrupt their educations. For instance, we've been working with closely with governments across the globe to make sure that refugee children have continued their educations online. The same, we've been supporting refugee students to continue their educations also online through different technologies. And just recently, just last week, we also creatively approached this here in Tajikistan together with UNIDA. We launched online trainings, skills trainings for IT on design, and there are a lot of initiatives which have been implemented throughout the globe. We support with partners, we support with the governments, and we think that specifically at this time of pandemic, solidarity, shared responsibility, and of course this collective actions are essential, and only by collaborating together we can move on, and we can recover from the pandemic, and we can definitely continue supporting people to connect them with skills trainings, with resources, financial services, and most of all generating their daily incomes. And for the second question, Ms. Afnan, could you please repeat it?
How can you connect the refugee who've got skills with the companies? What are how can you put them in touch with the companies, basically to market their you know, their products?
Thank you. So I can talk about the experience here in Tajikistan. As I mentioned, what we do here, we definitely make sure that people have skills which do respond to the needs of the local market. Like for instance, in cooperation with UNIDO, we identified refugee women artisans, and we also identify local enterprises who could employ those refugee women who bring those authentic skills, these unique skills, which contributed to boost textile experts. And for instance, if we talk about Afghan refugees, they bring these authentic carpet weaving skills, which we lack here in Tajikistan. So what we did, we identified those local refugee women and men who possess this authentic carpet weaving skills, and we invested in organizing kind of a learning center where both local and refugees work together to educate, to transfer those skills to local communities, which also contributed to local economy, because there was a production line, the unique production line, the unique collection line, which has been exported and which contributed to both local and refugee families. So there are a lot of initiatives where we could work together in cooperation, in partnership, to achieve a lot of positive results, which we cannot achieve separately. So in our work, working with refugees, the most important thing is to have partnership.
Okay.
The right partnership. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now the last question is for Ms. Marie Christian Ogeli. Please, can you tell us about the experience in France, what you have faced after implementing the compulsory holiday for the husband to help the wife? What was the output of that? How did this reflect on the family, on the productivity? And how did the men, accept that, or have they made use of it? What was the feedback? Thank you.
For young generation, it was no problem at all, and they are taking more and more this holidays period, and they are very happy to have it. For older men, it was a bit more complicated and they didn't see the value, but for young men, it's no problem today. And for companies, of course, you can say it will be less productivity because during a month, men will not be there. But at the same time, it's better to have somebody who is officially on holidays and having somebody who will take some days as he's supposed to be sick to be at home with his wife. So it's something, up to now we have only 3 days plus 11. It's actually the discussion to have 6 plus 22. But it should certainly be decided within the next few weeks or maybe 1 month, not more.
Yeah, I think we should ask the wives, did they get benefit from this, or it was more burden that they have to take care of the child and the husband as well? So it would be interesting to get the feedback from the wives too.
But
I'm sure
they appreciate that, because being together, it's also starting a new life together, and it's a good
of course. I'm only joking, but it's just that each one need to understand the man, that is not holiday for them, it is a holiday to help the wife. Anyway, thank you very much. Thank you for your answer, and thank you all for this excellent panel. I hope that even all of those who are following have found it interesting. We had several questions more, but I'm sorry that time doesn't allow us to do more. I am very pleased to have to become the moderator for this panel, and I wish the organizers the best of luck and thank them. And I would like to thank UNIDO and the Islamic Chamber for Industry, Commerce and Agriculture, as well as the Islamic Youth Forum and all the sponsors and participants. I thank Ms. Suhair also for her excellent organization and all the team behind this online conference. Wish you all the best and have a nice day. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Yeah, I want to take a screenshot.